How's it going, everybody? It is Theoda,
Johnny Trouble.
and I don't even think I really need to introduce these guys at this point.
You kind of look like hell. You might have to.
Well, Tim, Dan, Hackslash, you guys know the names by now. Before we get started, I want to congratulate you guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hackslash issue 1, you guys sold what, 10,000 copies or so?
Yeah,
It's like 10, 5, 3, 3 or something like that.
Yeah, not that we memorize the numbers, right?
It just looks so pretty.
But no, that's great. And I know that last year when we interviewed you guys, you just moved over to Image.
Yep. We didn't have a book out at that point yet. We were
No.
just working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, just started my first Maniac, correct?
So, yeah, no, it's fantastic to see you guys moving up.
Thanks, man. Yeah, there's a kind of general trend in comics, which is books go down over time, and so like, I guess I've noticed it, but I'm not very good at selling myself. But someone else pointed out, hey, you guys have been going up for like, 5 years or whatever, which is rare or whatever. But I'm not very canny. I should have told everybody that. Now they know, and that's very good. So.
Yeah, no, you guys have really moved forward with it. Especially, there's been a lot of collaboration as far as the book goes. You guys had Zombies versus Cheerleaders.
Yeah.
These Hackslash.
Yeah.
How did that go about? Because
Well, basically, I should have planned things better because I actually have 2 crossovers coming out the same month. So, but yeah, the Zombie versus Cheerleaders guy is actually this guy, Steve Frank, who was out in Washington, and he did a Hackslash card series, a sketch card series, and he kind of pitched me on it, and I was like, well, it does line up pretty well. But I kind of tried to keep, sort of like indie comics. When I first started working in comics, one of the coolest things was like indie dudes would just be like, yeah, you can use my character. No licensing, you know what I mean?
No red tape or
no red
anything like
tape.
that.
It's just like you can use it, have a good time. So yeah, that was kind of how the Bomb Queen one and the Zombies versus Cheerleaders versus Hackslash came about. Was just people asked me. And I like to see other people do Hackslash stuff. I just think it's fun, and I get a cool book to read.
Just get some more stuff out there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's how both of those were, and they'll pay me back by letting me use their character. So eventually we'll do a Hackslash issue with Bomb Queen in it, and eventually we can do some of the Zombies versus Cheerleaders. But yeah, so I mean, I just like we are indie comics. We can do this. We should. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've always respected about you guys is you do stay true to the ideas and always try to help them out. That's one of the great
We know how
things.
it is.
We are indie.
Yeah, we've been doing it, and Dan's worked his way up, from that way low indie thing where you're just trying to show stuff and meet people. And I mean, you can't be pissing on the guys you used to be, right? I mean, I had the same thing. It's like we were both.
It's not that long that I was there.
Yeah,
so.
right, exactly.
You paid your dues, and you see the guys who are trying to pay theirs, and
Yeah, I mean, you're at the bottom of the bottom, then the middle of the bottom, then the top of the bottom, the bottom of the middle, and then just sort of goes up from there.
That's a very long chain of command.
Yeah. Comics has got a really, that's comics for you. It's like, we should just do a book called Bottom of the
Bottom of the bottom.
I know that you now have 2 issues of the continuity of Hackslash out with Image now, after just finishing up the one-shot for Vlad and then my first Maniac, which were all very, very good. And it was nice to see you guys move into their backstories, especially Vlad, who I know when I interviewed you about it, we weren't even sure that Vlad was going to show up until the actual continuity started, and you guys picked it up right where you left off with Devil's Due. Where are you moving forward this year with Cassie and with Vlad? What kind of things do you guys got going that you can tell us?
Oh, that's the cool thing about doing your own book. Is like we don't have any restrictions on. Oh, we can't reveal this till later. It's like I'll tell you about everything because that make you buy the book. But yeah, the first issue, first 4 issues are an arc called Come Together, which it's all the threads that we kind of had loose left over from the Devil's Due series, and then basically giving us like a sort of right into the thick of the action launch, which using some of those elements but making it still accessible. But yeah, we're going to come together. That's the first 4 issues, and that will sort of set up our new status quo, which is, you'll see kind of like where I'm putting Cassie Vlad and what I'm doing with the Hackslash Incorporated, their side team, and then after that, issue 5 is going to be like a little one-off featuring the character Phantoma, the first period of the Super Psychic Sleepover Slumber. I still can't do that. Gears, I can't do this. And that'll be, she comes back to visit Cassie, and she's, of course, has the power of God. So, the next arc is called Fame Monster. And it's basically a slasher who kills shitty reality TV stars who are way more famous than they should be. And that would be kind of our little parody, and it'll take on, kind of celebrity culture and that sort of thing. And then after that, we're going to go, eventually we'll get back to Vlad's family. So yeah, it's definitely planned out, a lot of stuff. Fortunately, I have more ideas than I have time at this point, so that should keep the book going for a while with just all the shit that I have to get into.
Yeah. You guys have always got a lot going on, especially in the Pack Slash. I mean,
Just in general, I remember one of the first interviews I had with you was
Something cops are coming in and we all got scared. We gotta go.
Where are the police outside? But you did the first thing, you did Moon Lake. You've had issue 1 and all that. So you guys have your shit together, and there's a lot of stuff to do.
We have our fingers in a lot of shit.
It's a good place to be, right? Nice and warm.
I guess that's one way to put it. What's going on?
When it comes to one of the things is, a lot of guys, you get writing gigs and then you're basically a writer. And I've mostly survived on drawing for years, but it's like recently, if they give me writing gigs, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to do it because I don't usually write anything but hack slash, which still is fun. But yes, I've taken a lot of that sort of stuff and I've had a blast doing other projects and stuff. But nothing's like working with your baby, with your baby. It's nothing's quite like.
I mean, if you feel comfortable,
Yeah, it's a double date.
Kidding aside.
I'm just saying, that list, that's.
I know that, speaking of multiple projects, you have the Halo thing that you're still working on.
Oh, yeah.
With Matt Pizzolo and those guys. Is there any movement as far as the hack slash illustrated films?
Not that. I think the toughest thing that we had with this was that they have a really good idea of how to make their stuff. They made that beautiful God of Killer film stuff.
Oh, that's
And
good.
once we started talking about it, he was really excited about it, and then realized, oh my God, how am I going to make this work? Because I've got all these art files, and it wasn't made to be made into this. So I think it's more of a project than Matt thought. But I think he's going to kick ass on it. But I think it'll be it's going to take a little more, I think, to get it done. But that's a learning. I think it's definitely a learning curve kind of thing. Because when they do God Killer, Matt's directing it basically and saying, draw this so that I can, and now he's got a bunch of, it's like having a pre-shot movie and having to cut it back together. So, but I think he'll get it, he's working on a lot of stuff, so eventually it'll happen. But like everything hack slash related always seems like it's not the main comic, which we can get out. We're good at that. Everything else is always late. If it's, like the movie or it's always like takes forever. The action figures, if we made bed sheets, they would be late somehow. I don't know how, but it would happen.
Cassie hacked bed sheets.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Hack
sure the
slash
Japanese.
ink bag sheets.
I'm sure the Japanese have.
That's a pillow.
To not go into it too much and ask too many questions on it, but as far as the illustrated film goes, is that going to keep with Daniel's art and your
Yeah,
art there?
it's based off of it's basically going to be my first meeting. But I mean, I think that's the toughest thing to find out is that some of this stuff to animate doesn't quite look right, and when he made something for it, that works. So some of it we might have to do original stuff to make it. So expanding upon the existing art might be kind of the way to make that movie work.
Make Dan work more.
No, I know. I'm sure he loves it. We'll find some foreign kid who draws enough like you.
Put him in a closet.
There you go. And another project, and we're just trying to run the gamut here. I know I remember telling you this about Wild Game when we talked about it last year. I still get asked about it. I still
Thanks.
get asked about Wild Game.
If it wasn't, I mean, I'm working on it, but it's some of those things like I had the comments like, oh, we're going to be talking about it, and then all this other stuff came up. I basically like hack slash has come to basically rule my life. So everything else I do is actually sort of, even though like I draw for a full-time job, I draw for Marvel and DC and whoever, and that still takes up less time than hack slash does. So it's like getting these other projects out. There's a lot of them that I sort of started, or I have to come back to Loaded Bible at some time. I have to come back to Colt Noble, but Hackslash basically just eats their time. It's a monster. It's a bastard. But yeah, so that's my excuse, and I apologize for it.
No, it just means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something to apologize for.
Yeah, definitely. As far as, there was a Loaded Bible illustrated film in the works, correct?
Yeah, we've talked about doing that one too. I mean, I think with Matt, his company is basically Matt. So he's got all this stuff he wants to get going. So yeah, man, he's got my permission to do any of the time if he wants. So I'm sure they'll be awesome. I just don't know when that happens. Films are a lot harder to make than comics, except for Wild Game, which is really hard to make, right? Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys doing this.
Anytime.
So, thank you, Daniel.
No problem.
Good talking to you guys.
We'll all
Sorry,
just
great
raise
meeting
some
you.
hands.
Double date, what's up?
Of course, this is your Backsplash crew, Tim Seeley, Daniel Leister. And we will talk to y'all later, and we